when I had finished speaking these words, the messenger who had been sent to me the nights before was sent to me, and he said to me,
"Rise, Ezra, and hear the words that I've come to tell you."
And I said, "Speak on, my master." Then he said to me,
"The sea is put in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But if it were that the entrance were narrow and like a river, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to navigate it? If he did not go through a narrow, how could he have come into the wide?" There is also another example. A city is built and put on a broad field, and it is filled with all good. Its entrance is narrow, and is put in a dangerous place to fall, so there is a fire on the right hand and a deep moat on the left, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so narrow that only one man could go through at once. If this city now were given to a man as an inheritance, if he should never pass a danger place before it, how shall he receive his inheritance?
and I said, "It is so, master." Then he said to me,
So also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I have made the world, and when Adam transgressed my laws, then what is now done was established. Then the entrances of this world were made narrow, full of sorrow and hardship. They are but few and evil, full of dangers and very laborsome. For the entrances of the greater world were wide and sure, and brought forth incorruptible fruit. If then those who live do not strive to go through these distresses and futilities, they shall never receive that which is laid up for them. Now therefore, why do you worry yourself, seeing you are but a corruptible man? Why are you disturbed? For you are only mortal. Why have you not considered in your heart that which is to come, rather than which is present?
Then I answered and said, "O Yahuwah who reigns, you've ordained in your law that the righteous should inherit these, but that the wicked should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer distresses, but have expectancy for the expanse. Yet those who have done wickedly have suffered the distresses, but shall not see the expanse." And he said to me,
There is no judge above Elohim, and none that has understanding above the Most High. For there are many who perish in this life, because they despise the law of Elohim that is put before them. For Elohim has given a strict command to those who came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient to him, but spoke against him, and plotted in vain, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he did not exist, and did not know his ways. But they have despised his Torah, and denied his covenants. They have not been trustworthy in his laws, and have not performed his works. And therefore, Ezra, emptiness is for the empty, and fullness is for the full. See, the time shall come, that these signs which I have told you shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and her coming forth shall be seen, which is now withheld from the earth. And whoever is delivered from the evil spoken out shall see my wonders. For my bane Yahusha shall be revealed with those who are with him, and those who remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years, Hamashiach, my bane, shall die, and all men who have life, and the world shall be turned into the silence of old 7 days, as in the former judgments, so that no one remains. And after 7 days, the world that is not yet awake shall be raised up, and that which is corrupt shall die, and the earth shall restore those who are asleep within, and the dust and the secret places shall deliver those who dwell in silence, and those beings who were given to them. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and anguish shall pass away, and patience shall come to an end, but only judgment shall remain. Truth shall stand, and belief shall grow strong, and the works shall follow, and the rewards be revealed, and the good deeds shall be firm, and the wicked deeds shall not reign. The pit of torture shall appear, and the opposite shall be the place of rest, and the furnace of Gehenna shall be uncovered, and the paradise of delight opposite. Then the Most High will say to the nations that has been raised from the dead, see, and know whom you have denied, whom you have not served, whose commands you have despised. Look on this side and that. Here is delight and rest, and there are fire and torture. So he shall speak to them on the day of judgment, a day that has no sun or moon or stars, or cloud or thunder or lightning, or wind or water or air, or darkness or evening or morning, or summer or spring, or heat or winter, or frost or cold, or hail or rain, or dew, or noon, or night, or dawn, or shining or bright light, but only the splendor of the esteem of the Most High, by which all shall see what has been appointed. It will last as if for a week of years. This is my judgment and its appointed order, and to you alone have I shown these.
And I answered and said, O Yahuwah who reigns, I say then and say now, Baruch are those who are alive and guard your commandments. But what of those for whom I prayed, for who among the living have not sinned? Or who is there among mortal men that has not transgressed your covenant? And now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few, but torture to many. For an evil heart has grown up within us, which has separated us from Elohim, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death, and has shown us the paths of destruction, and removed us far from Chaim, and not only for a few, but for almost all who have been created. And he answered me and said,
Listen to me, Ezra, and I will teach you, and I will admonish you once more. For this reason the Most High has not made one world, but two, because you have said that our righteous are few, while the wicked are many. Hear the explanation for this. If you have only a few precious stones, would you add lead and clay to them?
And I said, Adonai, how could this be? And he said to me,
Not only this, but ask the earth and it will tell you. Submit to it and it will declare to you. And say to it, you produce gold and silver and copper and also iron and lead and clay. But silver is more plentiful than gold, and copper than silver, and iron than copper, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. So judge, which is more precious and desirable, that which is plentiful or that which is rare?
And I said, O Yahuwah who reigns, what is plentiful is of less value, for what is rare is more precious. And he answered me and said,
Consider within yourself what you have thought. For the one who has what is hard to obtain rejoices more than the one who has what is plentiful. So also will be the judgment that I have promised. For I shall rejoice over the few who are saved, because it is they who have made my esteem prevail, and through them my name has been esteemed. I shall not grieve over the great number of those who perish, for they are like mists, and are similar to a flame and smoke. They are lit on fire and burn with heat, and are extinguished.
And I replied and said, O earth, what have you brought forth, if the mind is made out of dust like the other creations? For it would have been better if the dust itself had not been brought forth, so that the mind might not have been made from it. But now the mind grows with us, and therefore we are tortured, because we perish and we know it. Let mankind lament but let the beasts of the field be glad. Let all who have been born lament, but let the cattle and flocks rejoice. It's much better for them than for us, for they don't look to a judgment, and they don't know of any torture or deliverance promised to them after death. What does it profit us if our life is preserved, but we are cruelly tortured? For all who are born are entangled in wickedness, and are full of sins and burdened with transgressions. And if we're not to come into judgment after death, perhaps it would have been better for us. And he answered me and said,
When the Most High made the world, and Adam and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment and that which pertains to the judgment. But now, know from your own words, for you have said that the mind grows with us. For this reason, therefore, those who live on the earth shall be tortured. For though they had knowledge, they committed wickedness. And although they received the commandments, they did not guard them. And though they obtained the law, they dealt untrustworthy with what they had received. What then shall they have to say in the judgment, or how shall they answer in the last days? How long the Most High has been patient with the inhabitants of the world, and not for their sakes, but because of the days that he has ordained.
And I answered and said, If I found favor in your eyes, O Yahuwah, show this also to your servant, whether after death, as soon as every one of us breathes their last, we shall be kept in rest till those days come, when you will renew the creation, or whether we shall be tortured immediately. And he answered me and said,
I shall show you this also, but do not include yourself with those who have mocked, or number yourself among those who are tortured. For you have treasure of work stored up with the Most High, but it shall not be shown to you till the last days. And concerning death, the teaching is, when the decisive decree goes forth from the Most High that one shall die, as the spirit leaves the body to return to him again, who gave it, first of all it adores the esteem of the Most High. If it is one of those who has mocked and has not guarded the way of the Most High, who has despised his law and hated those who revere Elohim, such spirits do not enter into dwellings, but shall immediately wander in torture, forever in grief and sorrow in 7 ways. The first way, because they have mocked the law of the Most High. The second way, because they cannot make a good repentance, so that they now may live. The third way, they shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of the Most High. The fourth way, they shall consider the torture laid up for themselves in the last days. The fifth way, they shall see how the dwellings of others are guarded by messengers in deep rest. The sixth way, they shall see how some of them pass over into torture. The seventh way, which is greater than all the ways that have been spoken, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall wither the fair as seeing the esteem of the Most High, in whose presence they sinned while they were alive, in whose presence they are to be judged in the last days. And this is the order for those who have guarded the ways of the Most High. When they are separated from their mortal body, during the time that they have lived in it, they labored to serve the Most High, and withstood danger every hour, so they might guard the law of the lawgiver perfectly. Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them. Firstly, they shall see the great joy of the esteem of he who receives him, for they shall have rest in 7 orders. The first order, because they strove with great effort to overcome the wicked thought that was formed with them, so that it might not lead them astray from high unto death. The second order, because they see the confusion in which the beings of the unrighteous wander, and the punishment that awaits them. The third order, they see the witness that he who formed them bears concerning them. that throughout their life they guarded the law with which they were entrusted. The fourth order, they know the rest that they now enjoy, being gathered into their rooms and guarded by messengers in deep rest, and the esteem waiting for them in the last days. The fifth order, they rejoice that they have now escaped what is corruptible and shall inherit what is to come. And they also see the difficulty and toil from which they have been delivered, and the spacious freedom that they are to receive and enjoy in immortality. The sixth order, when it is shown to them how their face is to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. The seventh order, which is greater than all that I have been spoken, for they shall rejoice with boldness, and they shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear, for they press forward to see the face of He whom they served in life, and from whom they are to receive their reward when esteemed. This is the order of the beings of the righteous, which from now on is announced, and the previously spoken are the ways of the torture that those who will not pay heed shall suffer from now on.
Then I answered and said, shall there be time given to the beings after they've been separated from the bodies to see what you've described to me? And he said to me,
they shall have freedom for 7 days, so that during these 7 days they may see that of which you have been told, and afterwards they shall be gathered into their dwellings.
And I answered and said, if I have found favor in your eyes, show further to me, your servant, whether on the day of judgment the righteous will be able to intercede for the unrighteous, or to entreat the Most High for them, fathers for sons, or sons for parents, brothers for brothers, relatives for their relatives, or friends for those who are most dear. And he answered me and said,
since you have found favor in my eyes, I will show you this also. The day of judgment is certain, and displays to all the sign of truth. Just as now a father does not send his son, or a son his father, or a master his servant, or a friend his dearest friend, to be sick, or sleep, or eat, or to be healed in his place. So no one shall ever pray for another on that day, neither shall anyone lay a burden on another, for then all shall bear their own righteousness and unrighteousness.
Then I said, Abraham prayed for the Sodomites, and Moshe for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness, and Yehoshua after him for Yisrael in the time of Achan, and Shemuel and Dawid for the destruction, and Shelomah for those who would come to the Mikdash, and Eliah for those who received rain, and for the dead, that he might live, and Hiskiah for the people in the time of Sennacherib, and many for many. Even so now, seeing corruption has grown and wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the wicked, why shall it also not be so now? He answered me and said,
this present life is not the end where much esteem dwells. Therefore they have prayed for the weak. But the day of judgment shall be the end of this age, and the beginning of the mortality to come, in which corruption is past. Lack of self-control is at an end, whoring is cut off, righteousness grows, and truth springs forth. Then no man shall be able to save he who is destroyed, nor to oppress he who has overcome.
Then I answered and said, this is my first and last saying, that it would have been better to not have given the earth to Adam, or else, when it was given to him, to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is there for men here in this present time, to live in heaviness and to look for punishment after death? Oh, you, Adam, what have you done? For though it was you that sinned, you have not fallen alone, but all of us who came from you. For what does it profit us if there is promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death? Or that there is an everlasting expectancy promised to us, whereas we, being most wicked, are made worthless? Or that there are dwellings of healing and safety laid up for us, whereas we have lived wickedly? And that the esteem of the Most High is kept to defend those who have led a watchful life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all? And that there should be shown a paradise whose fruit endures forever, where there is safety and healing, since we shall not enter into it, for we have walked in crooked places. Or that the faces of those who have practiced self-control shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed wickedness, we did not consider that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Then he answered me and said,
This is the condition of the battle. That man who is born upon earth shall fight, that if he is overcome, he shall suffer as you have said. But if he overcomes, he shall receive that which I say. For this is the life of which Moshe spoke to the people while he lived, saying, Choose life, that you may live. Nevertheless, they did not believe him, nor even the Nephilim after him, nor myself who has spoken to them, that there shall not be such grief in their destruction, as shall be the joy over those who are persuaded to salvation.
Then I answered and said, I know, Master, that the Most High is called kind, in that he has kindness upon those who have not yet come into the world, and upon those who also turn to his law, and that he is patient and endures those who have sinned as his creatures, and that he is generous, for he is ready to give where needed, and that he is of great kindness, for he multiplies more and more kindnesses to those who are present and are past, and also to those who are to come. For if he did not multiply his kindnesses, the world would not continue with those who inherit therein. And he pardons, for if he didn't do so of his goodness, and those who have committed wickednesses were forgiven them, the 10,000th part of mankind would not remain living. And being judged, if he did not forgive those who are healed by his word, and blot out the great number of sins, there would likely be very few left in an innumerable crowd.